It is a special day today. We are finishing up the halfway point of the Solo Sesh-A-Thon, and it will be a slightly different episode today because we're going to be looking at a city. We're going to be going into this city that we made in the last session. And I've only ever really gone into a city in this campaign one other time. And I think I learned some lessons that I would like to implement, or some things that I want to make sure I do just a little bit differently. So we're going to hydrate really quick. And then we're going to get into it. Also, if anything goes wrong with this, I have a slightly different setup, so feel free to roast me in the comments if that happens. But let's get right into it. So we created this city. We created a very small list of just things that are going on in the city, because I don't want to just fill out everything as I go, but I would like to have a general idea of what I'm entering into, what the landscape might look like. So we rolled on the Solo prompt table, came up with a few different prompts, and those things exist in this world now. So I will recap those. So the first thing is there is a leadership vacuum that is trying to be filled by a lot of people. I'm not a very political mind. I don't function on that. My campaigns don't have complex, I guess, leadership in them. I'm like, yeah, this place has a king, this place has a baron, this place has a leadership council, and I do stuff like that most of the time. So you aren't gonna get any like crazy political like rivalries going on here, but I want to make this place feel like it's a little bit on the edge, and show that in different ways. Then the other things that I filled out were relating to the Lighthouse of the Luminaries, and the Luminaries are this like scholar group, this university where great minds gather after traveling around the world and discovering different things. So there are three things that are going on there. One is there is an investigation into happenings around town. I didn't fill that out any further, but that's something to keep in mind. The lighthouse currently cannot light, is what I put, but there's no illumination. I kind of view this, I'll go ahead and put it out there now, but I think it's more of a like intense magical flame that would typically be lit atop it, and maybe that burned out at some point, or they just don't have the components to cast a spell, or maybe it is like even an actual giant light bulb, who knows, but we'll work on that, or just know that it's there. And then the third thing is that there's magical residue causing sickness, ? And my first question with that is going to end up being, do they know about it? But I don't need to answer that question right now. And these questions may not even get answered in this, or they may not be addressed too much, but that's fine, because there are things that I can use as plot hooks if I want to, or just use as even talking points. But so session number 15 of the Solo Sesh-A-Thon begins halfway through the day on the 27th of the 12th month of adventuring year 1. I'm nearing the end of this first year. Now they started in the 12th month, so it's not like they're out here crushing a year so far. But that's where we are, nearing the end of the year, which might mean a celebration. But so the intro is: the party find themselves at the gates of New Light, where they hope to find passage to Crest Break. Nelsor has offered to host them if needed, and to treat them to a night out whenever they want it. So I'm going to go ahead and say that if they can secure a passage to Crest Break within the next few days and then make it back, maybe it's a New Year's thing. Maybe he invites them to celebrate New Year's with him. But we'll get to that. So let's go. So they're about to enter the city. I think that Nelsor is actually, he's been missed, like, because they expected him back sooner. So as soon as some guards see him, you see there are two guards like whispering to each other, and one runs off, and presumably to go alert the people at the lighthouse. So, so this happens. They're approaching. You see the guards greet Nelsor very, very happily. They're trying to accommodate him in any way. They see that he has a broken leg and he doesn't have a horse. They start asking questions. I guess the first question is, are they suspicious of the people with him? Yes. So they are. You see the guards start to like, he's not like grabbing his sword and drawing it or anything, but you see he drops his left hand onto the hilt of the sword and eyes the party kind of warily. And Nelsor catches this and he just says, "Hey, they're with me. Everything's okay." And things settle. There's no like real tension there anyway. But the party decides that the very first place they're going to go is to the Lighthouse of the Luminaries to drop off Nelsor, at least get him back there. So as they're entering into the town, we'll say there's some signs up on posts or on buildings, like little flyers that are out, and it looks like people campaigning maybe to take office or something else. And the party asks Nelsor about that, and he just he kind of waves it off, and he says that the people are a little bit they're eager to have a leader right now, but he says that there has been a stand-in for a while, and he's been doing a pretty good job. And so Nelsor isn't out here thinking that they need a new leader. So they keep pressing forward, and the first thing we're going to do, this is still a risky area. So I think that the risk may live in the city as well. So let's see. 3. No encounter there. So they make their way through the city. I'm going to say it's a city of like about 1,000 people. But more people, since it's got docks and ports and trade and stuff like that. More people are there often. So they make their way through the city, and they make their way to this lighthouse, and it's massive, actually. So they probably could have seen it from a long way off. How tall is it? I'm going to say this is like, with a base. How tall are lighthouses? If you know how tall a lighthouse is, let me know in the comments. By now, I may have already looked it up, but go ahead and tell me in the comments. I'm going to roll let's make it crazier. We're going to go with a D12 and actually 2D6 because there's more variance here. And this is going to be times 10. And I'm also going to say at the lowest, it's going to be 60 feet. Okay, it's 60 feet tall. That may be short for a lighthouse. I don't know. But the really impressive thing is how wide it is. It's just this gigantic base, and you can tell it's like almost maybe there's, you know what, let's do this. I'm going to go out kind of to the side, and it's got like buildings that are built out on the side of it that you can kind of see through one of the windows. One of them is like a library, and then on the other side it looks like it's like a really big meeting area. And so they make their way in, and the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna see who meets them or how many people meet them, and we're just gonna go with a D4. Maybe So 4. Okay, this could get cumbersome, but I'm gonna have to write these down as well. So we're gonna say that the 4 people who meet them are, let's say there are 5 council or not council leaders, but we'll just call them the professors, I guess. It's the luminaries, but like the high professors. So the high professors of the luminaries, and what we're going to do is we're going to open up the Shadowdark book, and we're going to start rolling. So let's start with the ancestry for the first one. 1, it's a human. I'm not going to worry about alignment. I think that's crazy. Then we're going to go with age. Child. A human child. Okay. I was curious if this was going to happen, but that's pretty cool. So we're going to have a human child. And do we want to roll just like... Yeah, we'll just roll a normal name for the human child. 5. Kiara. So the human child named Kiara. Human child. I'm not even going to write too much about this one or like roll on this one, because I think that it's just like she was very clearly gifted at a young age, and her parents just like sent her off. So gifted from birth. And shipped to the Lighthouse. So she's from somewhere else, but her parents sent her here to really just make a name for herself. And I'm sure that the family benefits in some way as well. So next one. 3 is another human. That's fine. I don't hate humans. Oh, age. We're only gonna have 1 child in here, by the way. Oh my gosh, I rolled a 1 again. 2 is an adolescent. I can't do that. Everything else is gonna be, you know what? We're just gonna roll a d6, and if I roll 1 to 2, it'll be adult. 3 to 4, middle-aged. 5, elderly, and 6, ancient. 3, middle-aged. So middle-aged adult named. Again, I'm just going to roll on the human name table. 3, Rosalind. So we've got R-O, yeah. Rosalind, human, middle-aged. And let's see why she's here. What's her thing? And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know what I was going to get into with this session, so I'm already off to kind of a surprising start. So 54 is conceal asset. Okay, maybe she has a device. Conceal asset. She made off with scrolls from an ancient library that was going to be destroyed. So she's got like old knowledge from this this ancient library that she secreted away. So next up, we've got another human. Okay, if I roll child again, no, I can't. 6. An ancient human. Okay. We'll roll human name again. Just 3 again. 7. Okay. Corinna. Ancient human. We're just going to say that she was touched by an avatar of a god as a baby, and she cannot die. Or can she? Okay. Next up, we're going to... Oh, we've only got one more. Wow, they're all humans. And I'm pretty sure that Nelsor is as well. How am I doing this? Okay, maybe this is just a human. There's going to be somebody else. 4. It's a human! Okay, that's fine. That is fine. Human age is adult. Adult human named... It's going to be another girl name. We're going with one more boy. 16. Remy. Remy. Human. Adults. And Remy is... Let's see. What's his deal? Let's roll. 3481. 3481. Weaken. Path. Weaken path. This is where it gets fun because you hear me just go silent for a while. Weaken path. Okay, this is what he's currently on. This is like his search for knowledge. So he's searching for a way to weaken the grasp of an evil deity on the realm, wherever that is. So that could be here, could be somewhere else. So these 4 people come out to meet Nelsor, and they all run up. You see that Kiara, this child, runs up first and like hugs onto Nelsor's leg, the broken one. He winces a little bit, but pats her on the head. And she asks, like, where have you been, Nelsor? What took you so long? And also, I know that I went to kind of like a voice there, or not. That wasn't a voice, but I went higher. I'm not gonna do that. That's too much to keep up with for me. So don't ever expect that. But if I pop it out sometime, maybe it'll. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just thirsty. So, fun fact, I almost passed out on the way back from the gym this morning. And as I was driving, I saw, like, I don't know if you've ever experienced this before, and I will get back to this, like, instantly. But the light just, like, got so bright that I couldn't see. Like, and it was terrifying. I really thought I was going to, like, get in a wreck. But I made it back. So, I'm here to tell the tale. Don't go too hard. But go hard enough. Anyway, sorry. We're going with so Kiara hugs him. He winces a little bit. She asks him where he's been. He explains the Griffin situation. All these other people come up. Corinna, who is like has these glazed over eyes, comes forward and puts her hand on his shoulder and says, actually, does she have any, like, divination powers? No. Okay. But she comes up and she puts her hand on his shoulder and says, you have to be careful. You aren't as young as you used to be, and that's the case for most of us. And then she kind of looks at Kiara, who's kind of skipping around. She goes over, and then everybody turns their attention to the party, and they've got Windry tied up. They've got Sir Tucker Rose, who actually looks a little bit strangely impatient. And he actually says, do you all know when the next ferry or the next boat leaving to Crest Break is? Let's see if they know. Nat 20, they know. Okay, this is crazy. So it's now. Like, actually, no, they know, and it will be leaving tonight. That makes it smooth. And a nat 20 doesn't mean, it just means they know. And also, okay, let's say that they know because one of these four is going to be making a trip, and it is Rosalind. Rosalind is making a trip to Crest Break to get some herbs. So Rosalind going to Crest Break for herbs tonight. So that's cool. So they'll be leaving tonight. And Rosalind also says, I will cover the fare for you all since you all brought back our dear friend Nelsor. So they're talking for a while. And let's roll another encounter really quick. Nope, no encounter. So we've got this kind of gathering. We've got all of the people standing around. Sir Tucker Rose kind of settles a little bit now that he knows that he's not going to be missing a ferry or anything like that. And the high professors invite in the rest of the party just to come kind of check out what's going on inside. And what you see when you walk in is a large open foyer, I guess, but it's a vestibule, what I'm thinking. I don't know what a vestibule is. I know that word. I've heard it before. I know it's a room or an entryway of some kind. You'll notice I'm not the most educated person I am the most educated person in this room. But if you're watching, you probably know, or there's a chance you know what I'm actually talking about. But it's this giant open area, and you can see there are like low tables, pillows sat around them. You can see young and old individuals dressed in what kind. How do you decide what a color something is? I feel like there should be a way to decide on a color. I feel like yellow robes don't get used enough, so they're wearing yellow robes. I'm going to write yellow robes down here. Yellow robes for the students. And then we'll say like lavender robes are for the staff. And then the high professors wear white. So I would say there are other teachers, but they kind of study under the high professors, and then the high professors come in to kind of like share their expertise or just the stories. I would say that this is also a heavy storytelling order, where that's one of the best ways for them to communicate and for these people to learn is by really hearing kind of compelling stories. So we got new light. All of this is happening at the Lighthouse of the Luminaries. And we'll say all students are called, like if you go there, you're called a luminary. And yeah, so they walk in, there's this giant opening. There's like a door that opens up to this back porch that looks out over the sea, and you can hear the waves crashing up against the rocks outside. And it's a beautiful place. And I've mentioned it before. I'll probably continue mentioning it forever, but Eliara, Yarki, and Ulfric, who I really haven't mentioned at all this episode, but and I'm calling it an episode session, they are not from here. Like, they aren't from around this area. The whole idea of this campaign was that there was a void. I may be able to go back and find my notes on it. So how did the party connect was charting. So they were charting a portion of the wilderness, and then they have known each other for some time. Why choose to go adventuring now? Heroes have been retiring and the void needs to be filled. So in this general area, there was just like reports of heroes, adventurers, just kind of hanging up the hat. And so that's why they're out here. But this is their first time seeing it. And I'd say that Eliara and Yarki are like on cloud 9. Ulfric, how does Ulfric feel about it? Is he high is good, low is bad? That was a 7, not a 1, like I just rolled it onto. But he's not mad that he's here, but he's looking for something else to do, pretty much. Actually, does he go off and do something else? Yes, but what's the but here? So Ulfric is going to go off, but he asks Yarki if he wants to go with him. Does Yarki go? Yes. Okay. So Yarki says, yeah, sure, I'll go with you. So they head off, and I think that they're just going to go grab food somewhere. So Eliara stays, and she starts asking all kinds of questions. And she actually asks if there's a potential for her to learn under these people at some point. And there is an actual rule on learning. I'll have to find it, but it is in here. So, right here is learning. Your character may wish to learn a new skill during downtime. In order to learn a new skill, you must find a capable instructor who is willing to teach you. You can't typically learn another classes or ancestry's unique talents, but you can learn auxiliary skills. Examples include a new language or how to ride a sandworm using a harness. Wow. So learning enables you to do new actions or gives you advantage on certain checks. Work with the GM, that's me, to determine what you can try to learn. Then make an extreme DC 18 intelligence check. If you succeed, you learn the new skill. So, I don't know what it is yet, but Eliara would like to learn. So, Eliara would like to learn. Ulfric and Yarki go to grab grub. So I'm gonna say Eliara gets the nod for sure, and they just said, hey, whenever you come back, feel free to inquire more. We know you're on a short time frame here. So I would say she exchanges contact information, but the contact is that she knows exactly where they are. And Rosalind will be going with them. So she kind of starts leaning into conversation with Rosalind, maybe even about the herbs that she's looking for. And Yarki and Ulfric go off. I'm going to roll to see if there's any chance of an encounter. It won't necessarily be a bad one. Maybe it's more of like a rumor or something. So no. They go and they grab some shrimp kebabs. Oh, that actually sounds so good. So they grab some shrimp kebabs and they're eating them and they're just sitting around talking. And Ulfric looks at Yarki and he says, Yarki, do you trust me? And Yarki looks at him and he says, of course I trust you. I don't, like, that's dumb. And then he eats like 2 shrimp at once. And Ulfric says, okay, that's good. I know that, let's see, is he like honest here? Yes, but he doesn't reveal all the truth. Okay, so the truth is that Sir Tucker Rose approached him and said, hey, you need to get your act together if you're going to be leading this party while I'm gone, because they need you. You're the strongest one here. He doesn't say that Sir Tucker Rose told him, because that might be embarrassing. Instead, he says, I've been thinking about the way that I rushed in against that troll, and I just want to make sure that, like, that I care about you guys too. I was just kind of overcome. And Yarki, with some shrimp still in his mouth, kind of puts his hand on Ulfric's shoulder and says, hey, I get it. You're a strong guy, and another strong guy made you mad. So you had to teach him a lesson. And Ulfric kind of nods. And then Yarki says, I know that you're not going to abandon us or leave us in a bad situation. So you don't have to worry about that. We trust you. Eliara does too. And Ulfric kind of nods along and says, yeah, I knew that. I knew you guys did. And then he eats his shrimp. And then before long, the party catches up. Nelsor's staying behind, but Rosalind and Eliara and Sir Tucker Rose and Windry, who will be returned shortly, they all hop in. They make their way to the shipyard. They board this ferry that's going to Crest Break. And that's where we'll end this session. Kind of a different one altogether. They haven't had a ton of like interaction with people outside the party. So that's a cool new one for me as well. And I'm looking forward to exploring this more, because I think that this will be a cool opportunity for me to stretch my muscles in a new way and maybe ask better questions and get better answers from asking them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. We're officially now at the end of this session, halfway through the Solo Sesh-A-Thon, and I truly can't say how beneficial this has been for me. And I know that not everybody has time to do this. Honestly, I barely have time to do this, but making time for it has been really nice. So I hope in the next, like whenever it is, I don't care when it is, you can plan it like weeks out in advance, but I hope that you can set aside some time to play a solo game, maybe even like get your friends together, play a group game. I don't care. The important thing is that we don't leave the things that we want to do on the back burner. So I appreciate you guys watching, and I hope that you guys have a good one. All right.